When we launched publicly, we went from $9,000 ARR to $50,000 ARR, and 2 months later, we're at $100,000 ARR and more than 5,000 users.
Meet Guy. 2 months ago, he launched an AI video platform while running his animation studio on the side. Guy built the entire thing on Base44. Not Cursor, not a development team, just him building on his own. The demo he showed of his AI video ad that his platform created is going to blow your mind. In this interview, Guy reveals everything behind his launch and his impressive numbers, including a unique WhatsApp strategy that got him his first initial customers. Thank you so much for joining the channel. If you could tell everyone what Lunar is and how you came up with the idea and a little bit more about your background.
Sure. Hi, Seth. Thanks for having me here. So shortly about Lunar, it's a platform that takes away the work of having to combine multiple tools in order to produce an AI video. So today, people use multiple tools from multiple platforms. They pay multiple subscriptions, and they need to have some technical knowledge to stitch everything together. Lunar is aimed to a more or less technical user that will simplify the process for them. So basically, they can just type a prompt, and after a few clicks and after a few edits, they receive a full video with everything inside, with the narration, with music. They can edit the scenes, they can see the style, and everything is controlled with simple clicks and chat. There's no timeline or multiple UIs to need to learn. So that's Lunar. And basically, my background is I have an animation studio, Guy Mansour studio, that has been running for almost a decade. And we've worked with thousands of clients from around the world. And what I did is actually copy the process from the studio to the platform. So the audience that I was expecting to use Lunar are actually my studio's clients. So basically, I built Lunar to allow companies and small businesses and even founders to create videos for themselves with a much lower budget. Because when they come to me, to my studio, they'll have to pay a few thousands, and that's on the lower end of the ranges of the pricing for that kind of service. So Lunar gives them the option to produce something quick, good enough, and for a much, much lower price. So it wasn't like an idea that I sat and thought, what can I invent? It came from a need of the market, from my clients who were actually from prospects who never made it into being clients. So when AI evolved, I came up with the idea of having another solution for them, and not only to pay for my team and pay thousands of dollars and wait weeks. So that's how I came up with Lunar.
So is your background technical? Like, have you built an app before, or your background is just managing this agency, making these videos for people? And then with AI, this is the first time you've been able to build an app.
So I'm both. I have a BSc in computer science. So I'm both a video person and a technical person, but I know how to code, okay? But I never worked in the industry. Immediately after I finished my degree, I opened the studio. So I wouldn't know how to build that myself, because it requires a lot of knowledge, and not just what I know from what I learned and from what I do on the side. The entire infrastructure and maintenance and servers and data and authentications and everything is managed very easily when you do vibe coding, especially with Base. So without having to give up on my studio completely, I was able to build something on the side quickly and more simply than I would without vibe coding. So even though I have the technical knowledge, and I might have been able to put it off if I started learning the rest of the things that I don't know, but it would have taken a lot more time than what it took with the Base.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. And was there like a specific moment when you started playing around with Base or other vibe coding tools when you kind of said, I need to build this product? Or how did you decide to take that plunge and like actually start building it?
I was just playing with it. I heard about it like many others, and there was Lovable before, a few months before, but I heard that with Base, you can have more complex processes and backend functions. So I thought I'd just play with it and see what it can do. And it just evolved from playing with it to trying to come up with the idea to build something for my clients. It started from that. And it evolved from a nice thing to offer to my clients to a tool that many other people can enjoy. So it started as just something like a playground, and I added more features and more features, and then I completely pivoted the UI to be more, I don't know how to call that, to be more friendly to the market, and not to look like a technical tool, which is how it looked at the beginning. It was a completely different UI. It was meant basically for me and my team, and it didn't look good at the beginning. And slowly I realized that it might be used for other people. So I completely pivoted the UI. So it's just an evolution of a playground into a tool.
Got it. So kind of productizing that tool that you were using internally, which is a story I hear a lot about agencies. I think that's like a really smart thing for agencies to do. If you're doing
Yeah.
something internally, it could probably work for other people as well.
Yeah.
So let's let's maybe jump into, if you want to share your screen and show people like what's possible here, what you built, and then maybe afterwards we can talk a little bit about the growth and what you're doing on that side of things.
So that's the homepage of the platform. Because rendering and the process takes a bit of time, so I prepared in advance a few screens to show at this point. To begin with, you write a prompt. You can either write a free text, or you can go to the prompt builder, and it will ask you some questions about the video. So what's the topic? What's the video about? What's the goal of the video? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to get people to sign up to your wait list? Are you trying to drive sales? Are you trying to launch a product? What's the goal? Requirements about the script. So you can choose the language for the video. It can be English or Hebrew and even Arabic at this point officially. You can specify the tone of voice that you want to use. Is it going to be playful? Is it going to be serious? Is it going to be professional? And so on. You can provide ideas for scenes that you want to see. So some people don't don't have any idea for what they want to see, but some people know exactly what they want to see. So that's where they can put it. And key points that you want to include. For example, if you have a product, you can type the key benefits or your unique selling points, and they will be included in the video. And some more context. For example, if you have a homepage and landing page, you can copy and paste your website content. You can drop your thoughts, maybe a chat that you had with GPT or something like that. And once you fill all that, you get a complex prompt. But for now, we're going to skip it. So we can just write something simpler, like a punchy TikTok and about Uber.
And this is
And you can check.
everything here is done in Base 44. Like this is
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah.
yeah. You can choose the length. For now, up to 3 minutes, but it will be more. That's how it is for now. Let's go with 30 seconds, for example. And you can choose a style. So for now, we have 9 styles you can choose from, but soon we're going to allow users to create their own style and their own branding. So if they have a branding or a visual language they use everywhere, they'll be able to upload it here or even generate something uniquely for them. And then they'll be able to use it in the video. So for now, you have some animation styles. You even have realistic style, 3D, paper cut, isometric for tech companies, for example. That's very suitable for high tech, and even tilt shift. You can also, once you choose, let's go with, you can also add assets. So if you have a product, it can be a product, it can be a character that you want to use in the video, it can be your logo, recommended to add your logo. It can be any prop that you want to include in the video. You throw it here. You give the AI some context about what the object is. Is it a hat that you want to be used on the hero character? Is it your logo? And so on. Then you click next. And once you do, after a few minutes, you'll have, after a minute actually, you'll have a script. And a script as well as the story, as well as the narration are recorded at the same time. You can then go on and hear the voiceover.
Tight schedule and zero patience for finding a parking spot. That's why he chooses Uber. With one quick tap, a ride is on the way, letting him
You have a catalog of voices. On the side, you can change a voice.
ready to make something amazing.
That's a preview.
What kind of masterpiece are we aiming?
What do you want to explore?
Then once you apply, you'll get your script with that voice. And you can also edit the script. Of course, you can add words, you can remove words, you can whatever, as long as you're within the limit of the time that you chose at the beginning. And that's it. Once you're done, you can approve it. And after a minute or two, the system will suggest characters to be used in the video. Not always, but if it decides that there will be a hero character, it will suggest it, and you'll be able to see it and edit it. For example, add a hat. You can add a hat to the character. Now we're not going to wait for that at this point, but that's the idea. And once the character is approved, you approve it, and after 2 minutes, you get a storyboard. So that's how a storyboard looks. You can, of course, edit every scene. You have the narration for the scene here. You can see which narration the scene corresponds to, and you can ask to edit it. For example, remove the caps on the right. So after a minute or two, you'd get the updated image, and you're also able to restore what you had. And once you're happy with the storyboard, you hit generate and you get a video within 2 to 3 minutes. Now, I don't have the video generated at this point, but I'm going to share some other examples that I have. Okay, so here's one example that I have pre-made ready for this. So I don't know if you know, but Crocs just did a Lego flip-flop or whatever you call them, right?
I saw that on X. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's an ad for these shoes.
Noise. Banks in the church, that's DIY. That's me. They know shots. The man's in the place, that's what I got some drip. Real bad bitch, that's about enough. I need better enough for that man, not bad. Real bad bliss, it's fucking like daddy for the stuff, but they're in the talking out loud. We talking about loud. We talking out loud. We talking about loud. We
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that was just done with the same workflow that you just showed.
Yeah, exactly. Just replace the audio because right now Lunar has narration built in. You can't turn it off. So honestly, I just switched the audio, but the rest was completely Lunar within about 30 minutes.
That's insane. All right. That was an amazing example of what's possible. Like that actually blew me away. Like even like I had pretty high expectations just looking at the platform, but then seeing that result was like so professional. And yeah, like that was really, really cool. So I'm curious because that like almost was like an ad versus an explainer, or like, I guess, how are people using the platform? Like what kind of videos do you see customers making? Like, is it all explainer videos? And when I think of explainer video, I think of like almost like a SaaS product, someone like explaining how it works. Is that how people are using it or in other ways as well?
So when I started and still, I think that most of my marketing material are about explainer videos, but the capabilities of Lunar are more varied than that. It's all a matter of prompt. If you want type something special or specific in the prompt, you'll get something that's leaning more towards the explainer video. You'll get a narration. For now, you have narration, and you get slower paced videos, but with the right prompt, which is not very sophisticated. And I'm gonna educate about that down the road. With the right prompt, you can get more high energy videos, higher paced videos that look more like an ad. And with the right music, it's an ad completely.
Right, totally. And what is like the challenges? Like, are there any challenges building in Base 44 for this? A lot of people might think, oh, Base 44 or any of the like vibe coding platforms like Base or Lovable or those tools like are gonna break as you get bigger and you need to use like Cursor or Claude Code or something like that. Like, I'm curious what your thoughts are having built like a production product on Base.
So the biggest issue for me is the waiting times. So for example, you can't have a connection open, specifically the backend, open for indefinite amount of time because you're working with a serverless environment. You have some limitations in the way that the servers, in the time that they have to run, they're capped at, I think, 5 minutes. So everything is solvable, but you need to know how to deal with it. And it takes time to learn what kind of workarounds you can develop, which will be stable enough. And I have to admit that at the beginning, the platform wasn't stable, partially because of these kind of issues. And as I get bigger, as the platform gets bigger, these kind of issues, they surface more and they need to be handled more carefully with a more robust solutions. So I think that's the biggest, it's not a limitation, but it's a hurdle that you need to know how to go through. And I admit that I didn't, for Lunar, it's not 100% solved because Lunar is growing very fast and I'm trying to deal with it. And this is part of the reason, this is one obstacle that I have to overcome when Lunar is growing.
Got it. Got it. And I think that's going to be the case if with any growing product, you're going to have like these types of issues, I think, of scaling and making sure that your
Yeah.
product's stable,
Yeah.
whether you're using Base or Cursor or
Yeah.
whether you were
I think
writing
you're right.
code on your own 5 years ago. I think it's all the
Yeah.
same.
You're right.
And so yeah, let's jump a little bit into the growth. So what how are you getting users for Lunar? How are people finding out about it? And like what does the growth look like for you right now?
Israelis are special people. Lunar right now is very successful in Israel. And for me, I started from Israel because I'm Israeli. So Israelis are, I'd say, unique people. They love to try out new things. They love to give feedback and they love to recommend to their friends. And they're a bit like their community. And we have WhatsApp in Israel, which is very popular. So I started in Israel with WhatsApp. I started looking for people that want not even use Lunar, but even get a video for free from Lunar. So I produced the video for them and I showed them the video and I asked them what do they think about the video. Not even the experience. I started with the product because I'm a video person and I started with how the video looks at the end. So I just sent a few videos to a few people and they were blown away. So I started collecting people like that. And I actually opened a WhatsApp group in Israel where I spread the group around other groups. And the group got bigger and bigger. During the beta phase, we had about 1,000 people in the WhatsApp group only in the 2 months of the beta phase. Yeah. And that's how I started. I mean, it gave me a lot of power to start, to try the product, to get feedback from users, it helped word of mouth, of course, because I had close relationship and I still do. I talk with them on private messages and sometimes on the phone and we have close relationship. And I think that helped push Lunar a bit further. Then I shifted my focus to LinkedIn and I started posting on LinkedIn and these same people which they follow me and they like to see the way that the journey that I'm going through. So they follow me on LinkedIn and my LinkedIn profile started gaining more traffic. And that's how I got to where I am now. Now I focus. I used to write in Hebrew in LinkedIn, but I understood that I need to aim for global traffic. So I shifted my language to English and I'm now trying to spread my word to the rest of the world and not only Israel, of course.
So you're getting so now the main channel is LinkedIn and LinkedIn is getting customers. Like that's getting leads from globally from
Yeah,
what you're seeing.
yeah. I only do LinkedIn. I don't do any other channels. I don't pay for anything. Only organic posts on LinkedIn.
And what that's really cool because LinkedIn isn't a strategy that I use really at all. What kind of content are you seeing? Is it like content about your journey as a founder? Is it content about the product? What is resonating and actually getting customers?
So everything I post about difficulties that I have. I post about success. I post about ARR. I post about new features. I post about capabilities, demos, personal things that I'm going through that are related to Lunar, which convention I spoke at, and things like that. So all kind of things. And some posts resonate more and some less. But in general, I think that people like to see the way, the journey that you're going through, learn from you, or just be excited together with you.
Got it. So kind of building in public, sharing it about your journey and on LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn is it algorithm is sending that off to people that you don't know or that don't know
Yeah.
you, and that are becoming your follower and getting customers that way. And it's really smart because like Lunair is kind of like it's any entrepreneur or startup could use it. So it's like that strategy makes a lot of sense for the type of product that you're building.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much money is Lunar making right now, and how long did it take you to get to that point?
When we launched publicly, we went from $9,000 ARR to $50,000 ARR. And 2 months later, we're at $100,000 ARR and more than 5,000 users. That's a momentum that I have right now. You can't know if it will continue. You have to work hard to make it, to keep it going, and even to accelerate that. It's not that easy as it looks from the side. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Got it. I mean, that's amazing, like amazing traction so early. And how do you split your time between like your agency, which you've been running for 10 years, and this new product?
So it's difficult. Since I launched a month and a half ago, 2 months, I barely have time for the agency. But luckily, I have a project manager that took over, and he's capable of everything. And I'm still on sales and customer service if they need me. Since I opened, it's been crazy to run Lunar, especially alone. So I have a bit of freelancers that do occasional work on Lunar, like things that I can delegate. But mainly, most of the work, the product and the marketing and even sales, when I talk with enterprise clients, I do everything by myself. But I have my project manager on the studio that helps that helps run the studio at the same time.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. And I mean, it's also great to have that revenue coming in from one side of things that's helping, and then you can work on a new product at the same
Yeah,
time. But
yeah,
it is a lot of work at the same time to manage it all. Yeah.
it is.
So one thing that I think is a little unique about your path is that you raised $100,000 for Lunar. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about what that process was, and like what made you decide to do that instead of just fully self-funding, and what went into that.
So it was actually a safe investment. It's not a regular investment. And the thing is that when I started playing around with the idea of Lunar, and it didn't even have had a name by that time, it was around May or June. I just saw an ad from a big VC in Israel that they have a special plan exactly for solo builders and solo founders, that they give them a small investment at the beginning of the road to allow them to actually quit their job or whatever, like a safety net, to go out and try their idea and try to see if their idea has a product market fit. So I just saw the ad, I applied, and things rolled, and I took the investment. It was a safe, fair. It was a fair investment, and I think it helped me to feel safer to take the risk. Even though, as we spoke, I'm still running the studio, but also building Lunar and the generation costs. It needs money, both for the generation costs and both for me and to delegate what I do on my studio to other people. So the money was used for that, actually.
Got it. And then that makes a lot of sense. It's a really cool program actually. And I feel like with AI, like, and because of how quick you can build products and get traction, like it's a really cool program to get like 100K just to be able to
Yeah.
do that. You're doing what a lot of people want to be doing, which is vibe coding a real product, getting real customers. Everyone seems to want to be doing this, but not everyone is actually doing it successfully. So I'm curious, now that you kind of are on this path, like what do you think the future of entrepreneurship could look like now that you're seeing this like new way of doing things, which is using AI to build on your own and actually get real revenue from that? You're doing what everyone seems to want to be doing, which is vibe coding a product, getting real customers. You're now like in this, what I see it as kind of like a new way of entrepreneurship, of where you can really do so much more on your own because of AI. So I'm curious what your perspective is on like the future of where entrepreneurship or startups is going with this new technology.
I think it's going to be difficult because now almost everybody can come up with anything that they have in their mind. So competition is going to be difficult. It's easy to create things, but it means that competition is going to be difficult. And you have to give more value to what you build. So for example, in my case, I'm bringing my experience with real video into the platform. So I think you have to have some kind of an edge and some value that you add as the founder or as the builder on top of the technology that you're building. So if you just find some random idea and try to develop it, there are many other people that will try to do the same because it's difficult to find new ideas anyway. So I think that the best tip would be to focus on what your expertise is and try to automate it and try to create it to build a platform that takes your knowledge and your experience into the platform, which would be very difficult for others to copy.
Got it. Yeah. I think that's really good advice. I agree. Like take your specialized knowledge and use that to build a product that other people can't compete with. Because if you don't have specialized knowledge, that means that a million people who also don't have
Yeah,
specialized knowledge can.
exactly.
I think the other thing is like marketing and like it kind of makes marketing and brand more important, I think, because if anyone can build the products, but if you're better at getting distribution, then you'll win at the same time. I think that's
You're
another
right.
like good one. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Like that, I mean, I think that is it. I would say yes, but then also I would say you are good at marketing in your own way because you still got 1,000 people to be in a group.
Yeah, I
I
guess so. Yeah.
It's not a paid, you weren't doing Facebook ads, but I still think that's like a version of marketing at the same time.
Yeah,
That
it
you,
was free, but you're right. Yeah.
yeah, totally, totally. Cool. All right, well, where can people find you and learn more about you or check out Lunar?
First of all, follow me on LinkedIn, Guy Mansour. And second, lunar.ai, lunair.ai. Log in, you'll get 20 seconds for free. Try it out. And if you like it, you can pay, you can do a subscription, you can do a top up, whatever works for you.
Cool, awesome. All right, well, thanks so much for coming, our guy, and excited
Thank
for
you.
everyone to check out your product.
Thanks for having me, Seth.